I'm Adrian Saville, and it is day 27 of our lockdown vlog. Last night, Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the nation with an unprecedented 500 billion stimulus package. This unprecedented stimulus comes against the backdrop of unprecedented economic decline. In a recent vlog, I made reference to the IMF's forecast for the South African economy to shrink by 5.8% this year. That's an unprecedented decline in the economy. Unprecedented economic and social stress has then been responded to with unprecedented stimulus. Alongside the 500 billion fiscal stimulus, we have the 2.25% interest rate relief that has already been announced. Now, just to be clear, the 500 billion, I've suggested it's fiscal stimulus. It's not necessarily new money or new spending. So 130 billion is reprioritized spending. 70 billion is tax relief. There's 100 billion in an employment fund, and there is 200 billion in the form of a guaranteed loan fund. So the guaranteed loan is not necessarily new spending, but rather the undertaking that money loaned out by the financial sector will be guaranteed through the fund. All said and done, though, the 500 billion is, well, I've overused the term, unprecedented in its size. More importantly, it is wide-ranging and far-reaching because it goes in one part to the most critical and vulnerable elements of society that are taking strain under the COVID-19 lockdown, and that is children and the unemployed. So there is the introduction of an unemployment grant under the relief package, and there is an announcement of an elevation of the child welfare grant that is extended for 6 months. These make fundamental contributions at a time of deep social and economic anxiety. All said and done, though, there is no such thing as a free lunch, and someone is going to have to pay. In the immediate future, the someone who pays is the multilateral funding agencies. Those were referenced in last night's announcement, and they would take the form of the IMF, the World Bank, the New Development Bank, the so-called BRICS Bank, and the African Development Bank. In the fullness of time, though, that money has to be repaid, and that repayment will come from our future selves, the taxpayer. So it will be all good and well if this 500 billion, along with the stimulus, along with the interest rate relief, translates into a quick and improved economic environment, what we would call a V-shaped recovery. That will make the repayment of today's stimulus affordable, palatable, tolerable. However, and to be glib as an economist, if this doesn't translate into economic recovery, what it will mean is higher tax rates for our future selves. However, I'm going to break with economic tradition and point to a part of the announcement last night that I think translates into really good news. So you have on day 27 an upbeat economist, because there was reference to radical transformation. And I think that we can interpret this as an unequivocal reference to Tito Mbowene's proposed 77-page structural reforms. These were tabled towards the end of 2019. They are, as the 500 billion packages, wide-ranging and far-reaching. The structural reforms are wide-ranging and far-reaching, and they include the righting of state-owned enterprises, the right sizing of the public sector, and the reach for some low-hanging fruit that would help translate into lower cost of doing business and improved ease of doing business, such as the release of spectrum in the telecoms sector. Indeed, if these are implemented, it could translate into a substantially improved economic and social welfare path for South Africa, meaning that the COVID-19 crisis could represent a turning point for the trajectory of South African economy and society. In a very dark environment, I take last night's announcement as a bold move. It is wide-ranging, It's far-reaching. It brings a sense of stability and confidence in a very, very fragile environment. And it points to a component that has been missing for so long in South Africa's makeup, and that is the getting on with the structural reforms. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, stay home. See you soon.